Linear motion 2010, question 1b. A particle passes p with speed 20 meters per second and moves in a straight line to q with uniform acceleration. In the first second of motion after passing p, it travels 25 meters. In the last 3 seconds of its motion before reaching q, it travels 13/20ths of the distance pq. Find pq. Okay, so let's look at a diagram. So p, q, and we're told the first second of motion. Okay, let's have a PQ, or well, let's have an A and a B just to move them away from Q. So in the first second of motion, t is equal to 1. It travels 25 meters. Okay, and it's going at a speed of 20. Okay, we have 3 variables there. We'll be able to get acceleration, so we can find acceleration. T is equal to 1, S is equal to 25, and my U is equal to 20. So what can we use here? We can use S is equal to UT plus a half AT squared. S is equal to UT plus a half AT squared. So my distance is 25. That's equal to 20 times 1 plus half times A times 1 squared. Okay, so if I bring the 20 to the left, I'm going to get 5 is equal to a half A, so A must be 10 meter per second squared. So in its last 3 seconds of motion before reaching Q, it travels 13/20ths. So in this case, S is equal to 13/20ths of PQ, straight line, and T is equal to 3. Okay, well, we need to find something between P and B. P and B, if this is 13/20, PB must be 7/20 of PQ. And the time then, well, at 1 in the first second, if we call this T here, so between A and B it travels at T, or I can put it in here. The total time between P and B, so let's just look at P to B. P to B, the time is going to be T plus 1. We have the acceleration is 10. We have the distance in terms of PQ. And I have my velocity is 20. My speed is 20. So the same variable. So if we put this into S is equal to UT plus a half AT squared, we're going to get the distance is 7/20ths of PQ is equal to 20 times T plus 1 plus a half by 10, so that's going to be 5 times T squared, which is T plus 1 to be squared. Okay, so 7/20ths of PQ. Now we can use this fraction of PQ in the last section, B to Q, and we should be able to get an answer here. 20T plus 20 plus 5 times T squared plus 2T, which will give me 10T plus 5. So I could multiply by 20 and divide by 7 to get PQ in terms of T. Let me simplify the right hand side first. So I'm going to get 5T squared, 20 and 10 is 30. And I'm going to get at the 5T squared at 25. We can probably actually use the total distance P to Q here. We have the time in relation to P to Q. So P to Q, the time is going to be from here to here was T plus 1, and we have another 3 seconds, so it's going to be T plus 4. We have the total distance is PQ, and then we can use this equation to help us find the answer. The time, my speed is still 20, my acceleration is still 10. So let's create an equation. S is equal to UT plus a half AT squared. So the S this time is PQ itself. So it's going to be equal to 20 times t plus 4 plus half a again is going to be 5, half a 10, sorry, plus 5, and t is t plus 4 to be squared. So 20t plus 80 is equal to 5 times plus 5 times t squared plus 8t plus 16 is going to be the distance PQ. So we're going to get 20t plus 80 plus 5t squared plus 40t. 5/16 is 80. So we're going to get 5t squared plus 60t plus 160 is going to be my total distance P to Q. So 7/20ths of this, 7/20ths of this will be equal to this. So let's see, 7/20 times the total distance of PQ has to be equal to what we got for 7/20ths of PQ, 5t squared plus 30t plus 25. And if you can hear that noise in the background, it's my dog snoring. Apologies in advance. 5t squared plus 60t plus 160 is equal to 20 times this right hand side, so it's going to be 100t squared plus 20 30s are 600 and 20 25s are 500. So we've an equation in t I'm going to have to solve here. So I'm going to get 95t squared. Well, I'm not, because I haven't multiplied the left hand side by 7. I left that out. So I'm going to get 35t squared plus 420t plus 7 160s is 112. 1120 is equal to 100t squared plus 600t plus 500. So now what am I left with? 65t squared. 100 minus 35. 600 minus 420 is plus 180t. And 500 minus 1120s is minus 620 equals 0. They do divide by 5. Although they're not going to divide any further because we have a prime number at the beginning. Plus 36t minus 124. Now does this factorize for me? It has to be 13t by t. Let's try and factorize. If not, we'll use the quadratic formula. 13t by t. Okay, we need to get to 36. Will 62 and 2 work? 62 will give me 62, and 26, that will get me back to 36. That will work. So it's going to be, we want plus 36, so plus 62 minus 2. So you can see here, t can't be negative. So t is equal to 2. Now what were they asking us? This question. Find the length of PQ. Okay, so we need to find the length of PQ. So that will be this equation here. So t was 2, so PQ is going to be 5 by 2 squared plus 60 by 2 plus 160. 5 4s are 20 plus 120 plus 160, which is equal to 300 meters.